You're watching a WJMH Media production. We're an entirely student-run broadcasting program based out of John Marshall High School, whose goal is to connect, entertain, and inform. Along with many John Marshall High School productions, WJMH Media has also worked with WTRF, the Wheeling Symphony Orchestra, Augusta Levy Learning Center, OVAC, West Liberty University, and the Marshall County Chamber of Commerce. You can follow us on Facebook, X, and YouTube at WJMH Media.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the 22nd Annual Hall of Fame Induction Ceremony. My name again is Barbara Sleek, and I am the Assistant Executive Director of the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference. I want to thank all of you for attending this evening and sharing this night with our inductees. Wow, what a class we have to celebrate tonight. And we will get to all of them very shortly. But first, I'd like us to welcome to the stage soon-to-be 8th grader, Miss Cece Littman from Triadelphia Middle School, the Star-Spangled Banner. Cece.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
8th grade. What a talent. Thank you, Cece. Along with Cece, we have many talented people in the OVAC, and I would like to take a few moments just to make sure we recognize all those individuals that it takes to host a night like tonight. So let's begin with the OVAC Executive Board, and tonight they are represented by Dr. Diana Vargo. Thank you. The Hall of Fame committee members meet regularly throughout the year. Their chairman this year is Sonia Fedorko-Heaton. And the committee members are Dirk Decoy. If you would stand when your name is called, that would be great. Doug Costain, Joe Dunleavy, Bubba Caprell, Bob Cook, Kelly Ryan, Seth Stasky, J.R. Batista, Joe Myers, and Jason Hannum. Can we get a round for these individuals? In addition to the Hall of Fame committee, we have the Hall of Fame Museum Committee, and they meet every week to clean all the cases. If you're a member of the museum committee, would you please stand to be recognized as well? I know they're here tonight. There they are. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your service. The OVAC has commissioners and directors, and a few of them are also in attendance tonight. Would you please stand to be recognized? Last but not least, our Hall of Fame has inducted many, many members. If you are a past Hall of Fame member in the house tonight, would you please stand and let's recognize them. Wow, always nice to see friendly faces come back. Tonight's ceremony is also being live streamed. That's why I stood up here and had to wait for a point. We are being live streamed by WJMH media program. Let me give you a little bit of history about this program. It's a high school program. It's from John Marshall High School. It was founded by Mr. Tony Wood. I know Tony's out there somewhere. And they are celebrating their 20th anniversary this year. Their program from John Marshall is being taught by Mrs. Carly McElhaney, and I don't know if she's out and about, but they're behind the black curtains. They have over 50 students in the program, with 10 of them helping here tonight. So we have students who give of their time so that they are very active. They cover more than 25 live events per year, and I've got to tell you, the OVAC is honored to partner with John Marshall on many of them. So can we give it up for these adults and these students who are here working with us again tonight? The OVAC is so proud of our rich history, and tonight we gather to celebrate the accomplishments of many of you who have added to that history. The OVAC is big, and when I say big, I mean we're the biggest conference in the country. We have 54 member schools with over 18,000 student athletes in grades 10, 11, and 12. Square mileage-wise, we are bigger than Rhode Island and Delaware combined. There are over 750 head coaches in the OVAC. We give away almost $60,000 in scholarships annually. Are you getting the depth of being big? And just think, you honorees, yes, you are a big part of that. When I think of the history and the stories and the games and the records all of you have shared tonight, my mind is blown away. It is one of my favorite nights. That's because of you. That's because of your stories. That's because of your glory days. And I am so happy to be celebrating it here with you tonight. So as Ron Mock would always say, thank you for being you. Thank you for being part of the OVAC family. From the OVAC executive director, who's at a family wedding tonight, we want to tell you congratulations and thank you once again for being here. Tonight, it is my pleasure to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Chris Thoburn. Chris has joined the OVAC as a new Master of Ceremonies. He did our Banquet of Champions back in May, and now we're excited to have him to the podium for the first time for the Hall of Fame banquet tonight. So would you please help me welcome him to the stage, our MC, Mr. Chris Thoburn.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be here. Like Barb said, it is my first time, so I'm a little bit nervous. Just bear with me here. But seeing a lot of folks out here, folks that I've had the opportunity to compete for, and also some of my principals and different things, it is so great to see everybody out there that has made such an impact on my life, and it is such a pleasure to be here. So why don't we go ahead and get started here with our Legends of the OVAC. If you're not familiar, the Legends of OVAC member schools honors the great athletes that have either played or coached in the Ohio Valley prior to the formation of the conference in 1943, or who have played or coached after that date, but before their school became a member of the OVAC. I'd like to start with Becky Strahlers. She authored a sparkling coaching resume with the cadets, be it with her softball teams or her volleyball squads. She guided the Fort Fries Spikers from 1971 to 1992. Her teams won an amazing 320 games while dropping just 78 contests. Along the way, Strahler Spikers pocketed 9 Pioneer Valley Conference titles to go with 8 sectional crowns and 3 district championships. She also served as the head softball coach from 1974 to 1983. As she did in volleyball, Strahler enjoyed much success with her cadets on the diamond. Her career was marked with a sparkling 132-38 record, which included 5 sectional titles and 4 district championships. Those district crowns morphed into 2 regional titles, propelling the Lady Cadets into the OSAW Final Four. One Fort Fries squad lost in the state semifinals, while the second was the state runner-up. She has also had 2 tours of duty as Fort Fries head coach for girls basketball. Her teams compiled a 39-21 record. Strahlers was inducted into the Mid-Ohio Valley Sports Hall of Fame in 2010. Our first Legends of the OVAC, Becky Strahlers. I do believe Becky was not able to be in attendance tonight, so she will get her award at a different time. Our next Legend of the Ohio Valley, Don Strahlers. He was the head coach of Fort Fries softball for 6 years, succeeding his wife in that role. But he may be best known for his 18 years as the Lady Cadets girls basketball head coach, laying the foundation for the great success the program still enjoys today. His Hoops team won 292 games while losing just 95 times. Those 292 wins translated into 13 Pioneer Valley Conference titles, 7 sectional crowns, and 1 OVAC championship. On 6 occasions, his team won at least 19 games, and his 1988 team compiled a brilliant 23-1 record. He was a 3-time District 12 Coach of the Year and was the recipient of the OVAC Girls Basketball Coaches Award in 2009. He was inducted into the Mid-Ohio Valley Sports Hall of Fame in 2019. His 6-year run as Fort Fries head softball coach also marked with outstanding success. His diamond record was 111-36. His teams captured 3 Pioneer Valley Conference crowns, 2 sectional titles, and a pair of district championships. Ladies and gentlemen, Don Strahlers. Don was also not able to be here with us tonight. The award will be presented at a later time. Our next Legend of the Ohio Valley, Daryl Hoppel. When the name Hoppel is mentioned, wrestling quickly comes to mind. Daryl Hoppel enjoyed a stellar mat career at East Liverpool. He owns the distinction of being the only Potter wrestler to capture 2 state titles. Hoppel won the 121-pound championship in 1954, and the very next year, he claimed the 128-pound state title. In 1955, Daryl was joined by his brother Jim, who won the 134-pound state championship. It marked the first time in state history that brothers captured a state championship in the same year. In his senior year, Daryl was undefeated, winning 15 of 16 matches that winter. His lone blemish was a 0-0 tie. Daryl's also been enshrined in the East Liverpool Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, accepting the award on behalf of Daryl Hoppel is his beloved wife, Jerry Hoppel. I apologize. It will be his son. Thank you so much.
On behalf of my father and our entire Hoppel family, thank you to the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference for this incredible honor. Wrestling was always more than a sport in the Hoppel family. It was a tradition born on the farm and cultivated by our grandfather Everett, who raised 5 sons that became an Ohio wrestling juggernaut. Along with his beloved brothers, Herman, Jim, David, and Carl, my father's success was built on a legacy forged in hard work, toughness, discipline, and the bonds formed through competition. My father was very proud to be a part of this legacy, and I know how much this recognition would have meant to him. Losing him just last week makes staying here today especially emotional, but it also makes this honor even more meaningful, and we cannot imagine a better way to celebrate his life and accomplishments. Our family is deeply grateful that his name and his contributions to wrestling will be remembered in this way. Dad, this one's for you. We love you, we miss you, and we're incredibly proud of you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it is my pleasure to welcome up to the mic here Mr. Denny Magruder to introduce the Dennis Magruder Distinguished Service Award. Mr. Magruder, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good evening. It's certainly my honor to present this award to someone that was a very dear friend. And tonight we'll present this posthumously to Dr. Donald Hoffreiter in recognition of his dedication and many, many years of service to the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference. Dr. Hoffreiter understood that the OVAC was about much more than competition. It was about giving young people opportunities to grow, to learn the value of teamwork, discipline, and perseverance, and to build relationships that would last for a lifetime. Through his commitment to the conference, Dr. Hoffreiter helped strengthen the organization that became such an important part of the fabric of our Ohio Valley communities. His service reflected a genuine belief in the power of athletics to bring people together and make a difference in the lives of young people. Tonight, we honor not only what Dr. Hoffreiter accomplished, but the legacy he leaves behind. May this award serve as a lasting tribute to his dedication, his service, and his enduring impact on the OVAC. And with me tonight are his two daughters, Nancy O'Hara and Liz Hoffreiter, to accept the award on his behalf.
Thank you, Denny, and thank you to the OVAC committee for this selection. As an 18-year OVAC coach myself, I know how much this conference means and how much it meant to our family. From the moment the Lindsley School asked my dad to stand on the sidelines as doctor for the football team, taking care of the health and safety of the players, and he came to learn the officials, was one of the most important ways he could give back. That was never more evident than it was in 1978, when his being on the field saved the life of a young man during the Blair St. John's Lindsley School football game. It remained one of the things he remembered most in the last weeks of his life. This conference, all of the athletes, and the opportunity that it gave him to give back meant the world to him. So thank you for honoring him in this way. Thank you.
And now, my friends, the OVAC Hall of Fame class of 2026. Our first honoree is Mr. Jay Adams. Jay is a huge figure in the emergence of boys soccer right here in the OVAC, and he is the latest selection of the 2026 edition of the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference Hall of Fame. He started coaching youth soccer in Wheeling as early as 1983, and 7 years later would help usher the sport into the OVAC. With 6 schools playing soccer in that initial season, under the leadership of Adams, who served as the OVAC soccer director from 1990 to 2004, the sport has grown in popularity and participation. And the OVAC Soccer Championship and the OVAC All-Star Game is something that happens each and every year that we look forward to. After starting in 1983, coaching the 6 under group in the Wheeling Area Soccer Association, Adams helped form Wheeling's first travel soccer team in 1987, and he served as a team president until 2001. Competing as the Wheeling Eagles, but also known as FC Wheeling United, the first team would produce 5 future NCAA Division I soccer players. He also headed the West Virginia Olympic Development Program for 4 years and helped originate the West Virginia Challenge Cup, also known as the Snickers Cup, which started at Wheeling University and has also been played at Wheeling Park. For his work with the area in youth soccer in this world, Adams was honored with the Dr. Lee Jones Patron of Youth Award during the annual YMCA Light of the Valley Luncheon in 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jay Adams. He is being escorted by Barb Sleek from the OVAC.
Good evening. I want to start by thanking my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for where I am today and all that I am. It's a very special honor to be here tonight, and I want to thank the OVAC Selection Committee for thinking about me. I laugh because it came as a very big surprise when I read the story in the paper on May 24th, and somebody called me. So it was like, wow, that's cool. So, but he covered a lot of the things I was going to say, but I do want to touch on Sam Mumley, the wonderful Sam Mumley. And he called me in 1992 to talk about soccer and growing the sport in the OVAC. At that point, there were 6 teams. It was a time when soccer was poised to take off in the United States. World Cup was to be in the United States in 1994. The soccer club that we started in 87, those players that were under 12 are now under 17 and in high school. And the level of soccer being played in the Ohio Valley rose just so fast because of the club experience. When we stepped in, there were 6 boys teams playing, and all these worlds collided at one point. And the Wheeling Soccer Club was made up of kids under 12 through under 18. There was close to 300 kids involved in that at that point. And that was just making everything better because all those kids were from different high schools throughout the valley. So everybody was getting better. We got better. We built the OVAC into divisions based on the level of play, not the size of the school. This was very intentional and very thought through because you can only get beat 10-0 so many times before everybody looks at each other and says, what are we doing here? And so we built it like the English Premier League, where you had teams going up and teams going down, but we based it on play. So everybody is competitive day one when you came in. We did a estimation of where you fit, and we grew the conference from 6 teams to 44 boys and girls teams in those 14 years. The structure worked very well. Tom Radizak was always on me. I had to go to class systems the way it was in every other sport. And we said, right now, let's don't do that. We still have new teams coming on. And just because you're a AAA school, it doesn't mean that a single A school won't just take you to the mat. And that happened very many times. Looking back today, literally hundreds of OVAC players have gone on to play in college, and thousands have represented their schools. I was a very small part of this. With Bill Kegler and Steve Hanning, we had a vision that this thing could grow and be something very special. And the OVAC stayed behind it and grew it. And today it's really a stronghold and has a very strong footprint in today's athletics in the conference. Today, my main soccer love is watching our grandchildren. Mr. Hudson's with me tonight. And our free C3 soccer camp that we have 1 week a year at the Lindsley School. We introduced them to this great game of soccer. Many of these little people have never seen a soccer ball. We just completed our 18th year with over 6,000 kids pass through this camp. Our hope is this camp allows kids and their families to experience a great game of soccer, many for the very first time, and many because it's a free camp, and they can't go to a lot of camps. But more importantly, that they have the opportunity to hear about this amazing man named Jesus and the word grace, and how these two words can change lives forever. To my incredible family, our 3 sons, Jamie, Chad, and Jason, their amazing wives, Aaron, Holly, and Rachel, and our 11 grandchildren. When I think back to the thousands of miles, the hundreds of minivans, the ability to spend so much time together as a family, the joy to have been able to coach the kids, although their talents surpassed my coaching by the time they were under 14s. Then watching them play at the Lindsley School, and then all 3 of them play at Princeton University, is something that I never could have dreamed of. This was the original when preparation meets opportunity. When I talk about the rock in our family, or like Jason likes to call her, the fuel. I'm so grateful that God gave Chris to me. Now working on our 55th year of marriage, I can honestly say she's the one who kept us all together and is still my inspiration every day. She is the one behind the scenes, always helping me, quietly making everything better, always beside me, looking up and smiling, and saying, "Sure, babe, go for it." I'm not sure she meant it every time, but she lets me dream, explore, and create. I hope and pray that you all have somebody like Chris in your life. If you are, you're truly blessed. At the end of the day, I urge you to use your gifts, whatever they are, to make special things happen. Never say good enough. If you believe and have a passion for what you're pursuing, anything is possible. So thanks to all of you. It was always about growing the sport and giving the kids the opportunity to succeed. Thank you for all of you that were on this journey. I'm very grateful and appreciate you. God bless.
Our next honoree is Perry West, a name long synonymous with baseball and in the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference. West passed away in 2021, but was selected for his dedication to the OVAC, along with his storied head coaching career, which saw him rack up 460 wins at Brooke High School. He was first and foremost a baseball man. He was named OVAC Baseball Coach of the Year in 1987 when the Bruins captured the OVAC title then 5 years later, the West Virginia Region 1 Baseball Coach of the Year. He was inducted into both the West Virginia Baseball Coaches Association and Brooke High School Hall of Fame. He was also an OVAC baseball director from the years of 2000 to 2019 and was instrumental in establishing the OVAC Baseball Showcase and the OVAC Baseball Scholarship with his longtime cohort, Steve Wojcik. Wes spent 37 years as a teacher and 36 years as baseball coach at Follansbee and Brooke High Schools, taking 1 year off to return to Valley High in Pine Grove to coach the football team. He also served for years as the assistant football coach at Brooke, helping the program to 3 state Class AAA championships. He was born in Deep Valley, West Virginia, graduated from Mannington High in 1956, after which he earned his bachelor's degree in education from Salem College and his master's degree in vocational education from Marshall University. Accepting today in his honor is his beloved wife, Nancy West. Ladies and gentlemen, Perry West.
Well, I'm excited to be up here because I wish Perry were here, first of all. I would say that he would be so honored. But mainly he would be humbled because that's how he was. He never wanted accolades. When his baseball team won, he said, the guys did it. And when they lost, he said, it's on me. It's on me. I didn't do the right things. So that's how he was. It certainly is an honor for me, my family. Some of our family is here. Perry's brother Tom is here, and some of his family. Perry and I might say we both worked for the OVAC. Of course, you know how that is. He brought everything home and, oh, will you help me do this? Will you type this up? But that was great because he loved the OVAC. And it wasn't about him. He always said, it's about the kids. It's about the kids. That's why I keep doing this, because so many of the youth in the Valley are being given opportunities they wouldn't have otherwise. He, even when he was ill, the last couple years of his life, he still volunteered and did what he could when he had enough energy to do it. And he just loved it forever. I also want to congratulate the other inductees. Honor for all of you. And thanks for the committee, to the committee for choosing him. I know there were a lot of names in there, and he was just one person they felt was important enough. I want to thank also all the people who put this on. It takes a tremendous amount of work to put together something like this, the planning, everything else, but it's beautiful. It has turned out beautifully. And I just want to say thank you to everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee is Mr. James Pratty. He is one of the most respected and acclaimed basketball officials to ever wear the striped shirt in the OVAC. He officiated basketball for 42 seasons, where he would work upwards of 50 varsity games per winter between both girls and boys. If there was a big game, Pratty was likely to be one of those 3 officials assigned to that certain game. He was chosen to work in the OVAC boys and girls final every season from 2008, when the tournament format began, until 2021, where he opted to step away from officiating. Pratty worked 27 conference title games. His resume doesn't just consist of high school level games in the Ohio Valley. He was selected to work 7 state championship games and more than 25 regional tournaments between Ohio and West Virginia. He worked at the Ohio district level more than 30 times. He also blew the whistle during the District 5 All-Star Game. He was named the District 5 Official of the Year in 2003 and 2017, District 12 Official of the Year in 2016, Ohio Valley Board Referee of the Year in 2000, NFHS WVSSAC Official of the Year in 2014, and he was granted an honorary lifetime membership to the Ohio Valley Board Officials. He was also chosen for the Robert Dawson Officials Award at the OVAC All-Star Game. Along with his on-court work, Pratty served as the president of the Ohio Valley Board 3 times and spent 25 years on the executive board of the Ohio Valley Board. He also worked in training and mentoring with the board for 15 years. He remains active in the officiating world by serving as the lead observer for the Ohio Valley Board. Jim and his wife Roseanne have 3 adult sons, Jason, Justin, and Nate. Our next honoree, Mr. James Pratty.
Wow, thank you very much. I'd like to start off thanking the committee and all the OVAC for this honor. It really is an honor. I've always considered it an honor working for the kids in the OVAC because that's what it's all about. It's about the kids. I know us officials and coaches, but it's the kids. And the OVAC does an unbelievable job with that. I'm going to go along and thank some people, especially, excuse me, my family. My sons, Jason, Justin, Nathan, my daughter-in-laws, Jackie, Christy, my grandkids, Rocco, missed one, and my son-in-law, Shannon. My grandkids, Gino, Rocco, Rosa, Bella, Gabriella, Ava. You know, I tell you what, if the Sopranos ever come back, I think I got the lead roles here for them, that's for sure. But anyway, I'd also like to go on and thank some gentlemen. 2 of them are no longer with us, Tom Cook and Evan Reese. Without those 2 guys, there's no me officiating. They took care of me when I started. There's 3 other gentlemen that I would like to recognize, and one of them had a little health issue last year, and I'm glad he's doing okay. I just talked to him, Mr. Bob Montgomery. Bob was my training guy, and when you're a younger official, believe me, you need somebody to talk to and help you out. And believe me, he would I would call him, and he would straighten me out. So I'd like to thank him. And there's 2 other gentlemen I'd like to talk to is Ron White and Doug Costain. Ron was the same way, always there when I needed him. Doug came along a little bit later. I walked off John Marshall basketball floor, and I couldn't really walk too much anymore, so I knew I was done. And he decided to have an observer program, which I jumped at the chance when he offered. And so it keeps me involved in basketball. And it goes back to the OVAC again, where there's no conferences around here that have observer programs. So it's not there that Doug needs it. It's just there that we give him some input. And I have some officials, that I've met over the years. You've got scorekeepers, timers, even the cops standing down the end. You know them all, and you get to know them all. And there's so many that I would like to name, but it just ain't enough time. But I like to appreciate them all. But the one I will like to name is Bob Narish. Bob Narish is the best basketball official I walked on the floor with. He is, me and him had tremendous amount of big games, and really when I seen his name on my schedule, I knew that game was locked in. So that's always good, and I'd like to thank Bob for that. I've had some pet nicknames for officials, and everybody, it's not to make fun of officials. This was just to have fun. I had a Doonesbury, Eddie Munster, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, me, I. Colonel No Touch was my favorite. I was Mr. Clean, by the way. Wheeling Central girls cheerleading section, give me that one. But it was just fun. Like you're during a little problem, hey, what Colonel No Touch have there? We start laughing a little bit. I also had a couple names for coaches. Now, coaches are a little different breed, and you got to, understand it. I called one Tomato Head, and I don't want to mention any names because that's not right. But Coach Stanley Blankenship down at John Marshall, he would start the game, and you look over to him, he might make a call, and he'd be nice and nice red, like a new tomato. And then you'd get to the fourth quarter, you'd look at him and he'd be a ripe tomato. So it's time to go talk to coach. Okay, coach, what's up? Pratty, you got to call that, Pratty. My girl's getting murdered in there. So I walked in, looked him in the eye, and I says, Coach, I'll promise you when I see your girl getting murdered, I am going to call it. He looked me back and he says, okay. And that's it. I said, but that's really good, because it wasn't 2 minutes later he was yelling at me about that call, or a week later. That was it. And I'll tell you what, Coach Blankenship is one of the best coaches this OVAC has ever had. If you don't believe me, look at his record. I'm going to close on one thing, why I became an official. And after hearing this, you're going to say he's nuts. But I played basketball at Warren Consolidated in Tiltonsville. We had a small school, small gym, small locker room. We had a big coach, Coach Lazaz, big man. We'd sit on the sidelines, his feet would be in the first block. But he was pretty good on officials, and they dressed down in our locker room. And he said to this one official, man, he said, we're getting ready to go back up on the floor. He said, you're having a great half. Boy, you're blowing that whistle. You're calling everything. You're doing everything. Man, that's nice. He says, you know what? He said, my whistle's broke. I'd like this. Can I see your whistle? We're all standing there going, uh-oh. So anyway, if the official looks at him, he takes his hook off, gives it to Coach Lazaz. Coach Lazaz looked at it, walked over to the toilet, switched it around in the toilet about 3 or 4 times, handed it back to him and said, go have a great second half. And after seeing that, I decided to become a basketball official. And I tell you what, it's one of the greatest things that ever happened. And I've truly been blessed. Thank you, OVAC, and thank you, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee is Howard Dugan Hill. He is one of the most successful coaches in the OVAC in cross country and track and field. He is also the only one from Caldwell High School to be an All-Ohioan as an athlete on a state championship team and coach multiple individual state championships and coach multiple state championship teams. During his time as a coach, Dugan was an assistant coach for 2 state runner-up cross-country titles and 2 state title teams. As a head coach, Coach Dugan's team was 3-time state all-runner-up in track and field, and cross-country team won 6 straight cross-country state championships, winning 10 team trophies in cross-country and 3 team trophies in track and field from 1983 to 1993 is by far one of the most successful periods in Ohio, regardless of division, over a decade. During this span, Caldwell set the state cross-country championships all-time low point score in 1986 and in 1987. The 1987 team still holds the record to this date. From 1994 to 2021, Caldwell performed in track and field while no longer having a dedicated practice cinder track at the fairgrounds. Dugan is proud to be inducted into the 2026 OVAC Hall of Fame. He is a member of the Mid-Ohio Valley Hall of Fame, Eastern District Track and Cross Country Coaches Association Hall of Fame, and the Ohio Association of Track and Cross Country Coaches Hall of Fame. Dugan is a 1979 graduate of Marietta College, and he has been married to Sharon since 1979 and has 2 adult children, Ashley and Brian, and also an adopted dog, Hines. Now, I just want to add something here real quick. When I'm on my drive home to Noble County and Caldwell, I highly recommend that you guys take the Bell Valley exit 28, because as you come through and as you come across the bridge, you are going to see a sign that says cross country national champions and state champions because of this man right here. It is my honor to introduce Howard Dugan Hill.
I also would like to congratulate all the other inductees tonight. What a great honor. What a great evening. I would also like to thank some people. I always put this first anymore because I have a tendency to forget it. And it's not because it's not the most important. If you're in coaching, I coached for 42 years. If you're in coaching that long, you better have a good wife. And my wife is not very athletic, but was absolutely the rock solid part of raising our family. I was never there. I was raising other kids. Our 2 kids were raised by my wife. And that is something that hopefully all your other coaches understand, that they put in a lot of time and effort in doing that. Probably the most important person as far as coaching in my life was my high school coach. I played baseball my freshman and sophomore year in high school. So I didn't run cross country until I was a junior. My high school coach threatened to fail me in phys ed because I didn't run track. It's one of those things that I met with my high school coach last Saturday. We're still around. As coaching, I sit and listen to Dr. Monceau talk about love. And I believe coaching is one of those loves that you just have to understand as a coach. I forget a lot of names anymore because a lot of names have gone through this head. You know, we got a lot of kids I've got a kid that was an Army nurse that served in Iraq, comes to my house before he goes and visits his mom when he comes back to Caldwell. Still comes to my house now that his mom's passed away. I've got a former runner that is a probation officer in Caldwell, sees me all the time, and we talk. Those memories, those dealings that we have had are something that will never go away. As a cross-country coach and a track coach, but as a cross-country coach, I ran with my kids. And when I got too old to run with my kids, I biked with my kids. It's amazing how many hours you spend with those people. You spend more hours with those people than their families do. Okay? And you have more of an effect on their lives than a lot of those families do. Most of them, that's not true. You know, we had a great core family, and I think that's what made Caldwell special, was our family atmosphere. We graduate 60 kids. 60 kids in our high school that we graduate. We won 8 state championships in a row because of those families, because of those people, because of the love that they had for running and doing whatever I would ask. And it didn't matter whether it was 100 degrees out. I've ran when it's been 70 below zero wind chill factor out with those kids, where they would just want to go run. And again, distance runners, I know there's some other distance runners in the room tonight that are being inducted. They're a strange breed. They're weird kids. Absolutely. Okay? I was one. I grew into one. You know, they like to do things that you told me I can't run when it's 5 below zero. I'll show you I can. You know, they like to do things and be challenged, going through and doing things. Again, those of you, I'm very, very proud of the fact we scored 25 points at state meet. How many of you in here know how cross country is scored? If you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the race, you score 15 points. We scored 25. That's amazing. You know, I've had kids run at the University of Michigan, become an All-American. I've had kids run at the University of Alabama. I've had kids run at the Ohio State University, Marshall University, Kent State University, Ohio University. All from a class of 60 kids in your graduating class. You know? That's something so special to me. So special that I will never, ever be able to get rid of. Stopped coaching about 6 years ago. Became an official. Why? It goes back to that first coach. You know, my first coach, it's a real short story. Shows you my love for my coach. Shows you why I'm still doing this. Coach, I can't come to practice today. Now you tell Rod O'Donnell that you can't come to practice today, you might as well tell him that something is seriously wrong in your life. You're committing hara-kiri. Okay? Coach, I can't come to practice tomorrow. It's Saturday morning. I cannot come to practice. Yes, you can. It starts at 10 o'clock. You'll be there. No, Coach, I'm telling you, I cannot come to practice tomorrow. Why not, Dugan? Because I'm putting a roof on the barn tomorrow, Coach, and I can't come. We're putting the roof on. He goes, what time are you starting? I said, 8. He said, we'll be there and we'll run after the practice, after the barn is done. My cross-country team came and put the roof on my barn, and then we went and ran after it was done with. I am going to be 70 in a week or two. I have to keep giving back to a sport that has given me so much. I now officiate. I'm in charge of the state cross-country meet in Ohio. I referee a lot. Why? Because I like to give back to the sport. You touch a lot of people's lives, and there is, in my humble opinion, no better sport in the world than cross-country. It doesn't matter how good number one is. He can score 1 point, whether he runs 14:30 or 16:30 if he wins a race. But he can only score 1 point. He better have 4 more with him, or his team is not very good. And there is no other sport in the world that is like that. I used to always say if LeBron James, me, and anybody in here played 3-on-3 basketball, we'd be pretty good as long as I didn't touch a basketball. Okay? Cross country is not that sport. Again, thank you very, very much. It's a very humbling experience to be able to accept this award. Congratulations, everybody else, and thank you very, very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee, folks, is Tony Ciroli. Tony, this longtime Red Devil coach, won basically every meet there was to win as a track coach in nearly every major meet in cross country. And as it says here, that's not an exaggeration, and that is also something that I can attest to running against a few of his programs. Ciroli was the head coach from 2015 to 2023 and boys cross country coach from 1998 to 2022, and the girls head cross country coach from 2010 to 2022. He also spent 5 years as an assistant coach in track. In track and field, Ciroli guided the Red Devils to the 2016 Division II State Championship. That team scoring included the only 2 individual state male champions in school history, which fueled the Red Devils' run to their title. Ciroli's teams were constantly in the winner's circle during the conference championship meets. All told, he led the Red Devils to an astounding 34 OVAC titles across the 2 sports. He won his first OVAC title in cross country in the year 2000. The breakdown of his OVAC titles includes 14 in boys cross country, 8 in girls cross country, 6 in boys track, and 6 in girls track. The Red Devils were district champions 11 times under Mr. Ciroli, with 7 of those coming in boys track. And St. Clairsville also won 3 consecutive regional cross country titles from 2008 to 2010 and qualified for the state meet 5 times. St. C's top state finish during Ciroli's era in boys cross country came in 2009 when it was 3rd overall. In the Buckeye 8, St. Clairsville won 20 titles in the running sports under Ciroli. Along with 2 individual state champions, he coached 20 other athletes or relay teams to an All-Ohio finish in track and field. He coached 3 state runner-up finishers in 4 events. He had 1 All-Ohio in cross country. This earned him Eastern District Division II Cross Country Coach of the Year 5 times, 3 times in track and field, and he was the 2011 winner of the Fred Daffler State Boys Coach of the Year and was a finalist for OVAC Coach of the Year in 2017. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tony Ciroli.
Good evening, everyone. I am truly honored and humbled to be inducted into the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference Hall of Fame as a coach. To the OVAC, thank you for this incredible recognition. While my name may be on this award, it represents the efforts, support, and belief of so many who have been part of this journey. Every coach is shaped by those who come before them, and I would not be standing here tonight without my founding fathers in coaching, Rick Oberdick, Monty Miller, and Mickey Blatnick. Thank you for teaching me not only the fundamentals of coaching, but also the importance of integrity, preparation, and putting athletes first. I also want to thank Kelly Ryan, who has been an incredible mentor throughout my career. Kelly refined my coaching philosophy, challenged me to keep learning, and provided unwavering support and guidance over the years. I am a better coach because of your influence. To my wife, thank you for your love, patience, and endless support. Coaching demands countless hours away from home, and none of this would have been possible without your sacrifices and encouragement. To my daughter, Kylie, thank you for letting me be both dad and your high school high jump coach. I know that wasn't always easy, but those are memories I will always treasure. To my great friend, Greg Kazmersky, the best sprint coach in the Ohio Valley, in my opinion. Thank you for your friendship and your generosity. The fact that you coached my son Trey, even though he competed on another school's team, speaks volumes about the kind of coach and person you are. Before I finish, I have something to clear up with Dr. Skaggs. I was hoping he would be here tonight. Several years ago, my assistant coaches and I were sitting in the grandstands at the state track meet, feverishly scoring the remaining events. We knew we had a pretty good chance to win the state championship. And all this excitement, I made a promise. If we win, I would kiss Dr. Skaggs when he presented our state championship medals. Well, we won. Dr. Skaggs placed that medal around my neck. I kept word and gave him a kiss on the cheek. So if Dr. Skaggs is watching, if you ever wonder why that happened, now you know. Thank you for being a good sport. Thank you for every OVAC championship pennant you ever handed me over the years. Those pennants represent far more than victories. They represent the dedication of hundreds of athletes and coaches who made those moments possible. Finally, thank you to every athlete, assistant coach, colleague, and family member I have had the privilege to work with. Coaching has never been about one person. It has always been about building relationships, helping young people grow, and accomplishing things that together, that none of us could achieve alone. To the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference, thank you for this incredible honor. I am grateful, humbled, and proud to accept it on behalf of everyone who has shared this journey with me. Thank you, and God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree is Mr. Robert Dunleavy. Mr. Dunleavy was a three-sport prep performer and helped the Vikings capture the 1962 State Track Championship. He placed in 2 individual events to help propel Warwood to the team crown. Dunleavy finished 4th in the 440-yard dash while tying for 7th in the high jump. He also anchored the Vikings mile relay team to a 2nd place finish. He was also a standout in football and basketball for the Vikings. In hoops, he earned 2nd team All-City and All-OVAC. He served as his team captain as a senior. On the gridiron, Dunleavy earned many postseason honors. He was first team All-Valley and an All-OVAC honoree while earning second team All-State. His gridiron prowess earned him a football scholarship to West Virginia University. He played for the Mountaineers from 1962 to 1965, and freshmen at that time were not allowed to play on the varsity teams. One of his most memorable moments for WVU was in 1964 when he caught a 50-yard touchdown pass to help the Mountaineers upset then ninth-ranked Syracuse 28-27 in Morgantown. The 3-year Mountaineer letterman ended his West Virginia career with 52 catches for 861 yards and 7 touchdowns. He had 29 pass receptions as a senior and was named All-Southern Conference. He also earned his degree in education at West Virginia University. He was drafted in 1966 by the Dallas Cowboys of the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs of the AFL. The Cowboys took him in the 6th round with the 86th overall pick, while the Chiefs grabbed him in the 19th round. He cast his lot with the Cowboys, but was unable to make the final roster, but then he suited up right here for the Wheeling Ironmen. After his playing days, he enjoyed a successful career outside of the realm of athletics. He was an elected member of the Ohio County Board of Education in 1985. He served on that board for 20 years, and he was president from 2003 to 2005. His now 2-decade tenure on the Ohio County Board led him to gain appointment to the West Virginia State Board of Education on a 9-year term, and then Governor Jim Justice reappointed him to serve a second 9-year term. Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree, Mr. Robert Dunleavy.
Thank you very much for this honor. I appreciate it. And I've been very blessed in my times in sports as well as business world itself. But the blessings more to my family. And they're all sitting here tonight. I'm going to take time to introduce all of them. I would like to my oldest son, Rob, you're the old one, and his lovely wife, Sherry, and his 2 children. He had 2 boys, Trey and Brandon. And then also next was Dr. Ryan, who is our middle son, and his lovely wife, Patty, and his 2 children, Dylan, and Dylan's got his friends with him, Aspen, and also Danielle. And the last but least is the baby of the family, and that's Rick, of course, and his lovely wife, Jen, and his 2 children, Alex. And Alex has been blessed with his beautiful wife, Karen, and also my baby doll, Emily. Where's she at? She's just turned 21. Anyways, that's my success right there. I've been blessed with a lot of things on sports. I've been very blessed in the business world, and I'm just very happy that you gave me the honor to be part of this wonderful OVAC family. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree that could not be here with us today is Mr. Sandy Williams. Williams was a 4-year standout for the Big Red basketball before enjoying a very successful Division I college hoop career. He helped Steubenville to a pair of OVAC Class 3A championships. As a senior, Williams sparkled as the Big Red posted a 19-5 record, bowing out to Newark in the regional finals in the OSAW largest classification. This talented hoopster averaged 25 points and double-digit rebounds that winter. Those numbers combined with his team's success earned him All-Ohio and All-OVAC honors. Williams played an integral part in Steubenville's 18-5 season a year prior, averaging 24.6 points per game. The Big Reds captured the OVAC 3A title via their 18-5 regular season mark. Steubenville lost to New Philadelphia in overtime in the district finals. He was first team All-OVAC, All-District honoree while being honorable mention in All-Ohio selection. He ended his playing days at Steubenville with 1,416 points. His career under the Big Reds earned him a scholarship to St. Francis University of Pennsylvania. In both his junior and senior seasons, Williams averaged 24 points per game. He is only one of a handful of players in the history of St. Francis to score 1,500 points and grab 750 rebounds. He currently sits sixth in the school's all-time scoring list with 1,546 points and seventh in rebounds with 833. These impressive numbers earned him a spot in the St. Francis Hall of Fame, and he was selected by the Baltimore Bullets with the 100th pick in the 1964 NBA draft. My friends, our next honoree, Sandy Williams. Our next honoree is Ed Buzzy Evans. Evans is being enshrined in the OVAC Hall of Fame for his outstanding athletic success. He was also considered for induction as a coach and in officials. He starred in football and wrestling at St. John's. He also set the school record in the pole vault. He was a 3-year starter in football for the Fighting Irish. He earned first team All-OVAC and second team All-Ohio honors as a senior when St. John's went 5-4-1 for head coach Danny Bauman. He was also named captain of the All-Ohio Valley Big Team School. He was later named first defensive end for the Wheeling Intelligencer All-Decade Team. He was also a dominant force in wrestling, an OVAC champion as a sophomore in the 167-pound class, while taking third as a junior in the 175-pound class. He also enjoyed a banner mat season as a senior, an OVAC and district champion at 185 pounds. He took third place in the OSAW wrestling tournament at St. John's and was in the state's largest school category. He continued his outstanding athletic success at the collegiate level, both on the gridiron and the mat. He was a 4-year letterman as a defensive lineman for the Hilltoppers. As a freshman, he helped West Liberty put together an undefeated season while advancing to the NAIA playoff semifinals. He was honored as the WJMH Defensive Player of the Year as a senior, and he was the Hilltoppers team captain that fall. He was a 3-year letterman for West Liberty's wrestling program. He was the WJMH 170-pound champion as a sophomore, junior, and senior, and also qualified for the national tournament in Iowa in his final MAC campaign for the Hilltoppers. He was inducted into the West Liberty Athletic Hall of Fame in 1977. When it came to coaching, he also excelled in wrestling. He cut his head coaching teeth at Bridgeport in 1976, and after 3 years at the Bulldogs' helm, he served as the assistant coach at Martins Ferry and then became an assistant at Wheeling Park before assuming the head coach for the Patriots. He guided the Patriots for 5 years, winning several OVAC titles, as well as the West Virginia Class AAA state championship in 1986. That squad was ranked 25th nationally by National Wrestling News. After he retired as a coach, he turned in his whistle to become a wrestling official. A position which he currently excels in, and he also has numerous awards for his officiating. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Buzzy Evans.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to take this time, first of all, thank the selection committee for giving me this award in the sport of wrestling. As you know, wrestling is a very tough sport. You have to cut a lot of weight, and it's not fun. But I was lucky to have a family back then to support me in high school and in college. I would like to take this time to introduce the table down here in my family. My brother Bruce, who is sitting there, put your hand up, Bruce. He was an excellent athlete at St. John's, was a running back. He was selected to the All-Star team for the Ohio West Virginia All-Star, and he served 2 years in the military and fought in Vietnam. Thank you for your service. I would like to take this time to introduce my beautiful wife who's sitting next to him. My wife and I do everything together. We have a bucket list where we want to travel all over the world, and I don't think we're halfway through it yet, but hopefully we'll get there. She's been beside me, and we've been married for 24 years. She's my best friend. My son-in-law, Paul Koski, who also played football for St. John's, was the quarterback and played basketball. He's married to my oldest daughter, who's sitting down there. And my youngest daughter's back there filming. But my two daughters are absolutely the love of my life. They're wonderful people. They also played sports at St. John's, being cheerleaders. They were both cheerleaders. Erica played basketball, and Jessica played volleyball, softball, and they were both cheerleaders. Jessica was the all OVAC cheerleader. She was ranked, or actually competed in a national tournament for cheering and was runner-up. And she also cheered for the competition cheering squad at Ohio State University for the Buckeyes. So I'm very proud of my daughters for being athletes, but they did one thing, they accomplished one thing that I could never do, and that's be academically smart. My one daughter was valedictorian, and the other daughter was on the Honor Society. I think I knew some kids that were in the Honor Society when I went to school, but I never achieved that great academic success. But my daughters, I love you guys very much. Thanks for coming. The legacy of athletics is continuing down the line because my oldest daughter has two girls. They are involved in dance, which they practice 20 hours a week for dance. They also play field hockey. One of them's a cheerleader, and they are busy all the time. My youngest daughter has a daughter. She is also a cheerleader, plays volleyball, and her son plays basketball, which he's 9 years old. He scored 43 points in one game. He plays football now. He's playing tackle football, and he's an excellent baseball player. And he also, believe it or not, wrestles. And he doesn't like when Pappy Buzz comes to wrestling practice because I make him work a little harder. But I see that legacy is going down the line, and I hope they continue with the athletics from me and hopefully the brains from their mothers. I can't say enough about the OVAC Athletic Conference. I know what it's meant to me. I was introduced, I played football, wrestled, and ran track in the OVAC. And it gave me the opportunity to go on to get a college scholarship and become a teacher, which I have taught and just retired for 50 years. And I loved every minute of it. My college coach, Coach Monceau, is back there, and I thank him for all he did for me in college. But one thing that athletics gives you, it gives you the confidence, the resilience, and it just makes you a better person. And I'm glad to see all of you here today are following the OVAC and this conference. It's a great conference. Like they said before, it's the biggest conference in the country, and we're glad to be a part of it. I also, besides my athletics, like I said, I coached for 26 years and was an official for about 20 years. So I appreciate everybody that helped me do those two things. And like I said, you can't do it by yourself. It takes a family, and that family is the OVAC. Thank you, and congratulations to all the other inductees for this award. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee is Mr. Jeff Rice. Rice is still regarded as one of the finest running backs to ever grace an Ohio Valley gridiron. His senior year also marked the first season legendary George Strager served as the head coach of the Red Devils. Rice and Strager teamed up to turn in a magical season on the hilltop. Rice was the major reason St. Clairsville went 9-0 on the season. It marked the school's first unbeaten season since 1956 and the first perfect season since 1947. His offense, fueled by a mammoth rushing campaign by Rice, it averaged 41.4 points per game. And Rice galloped for 1,803 yards on only 195 carries, averaging better than 200 rushing yards per game. He scored 174 points on 27 touchdowns and 12 PATs. His impressive totals earned him first team All-Ohio Class 2A Associated Press honors, the biggest classification in the Buckeye State. He became the first Red Devil back to earn a prestigious award. He was tabbed second team All-Ohio by the UPI. He was also named team captain of the All-Valley Big School team, as well as first team All-OVAC and every other honor possible. He also lettered in basketball and track for the Red Devils. His electric rushing skills landed him countless Division I offers and landed him a spot at West Virginia University. At WVU, he led the freshman squad in rushing and scoring. He gained 411 yards on 65 carries for 6.3 yards per carry and 7 touchdowns. He also had great speed and was clocked at 4.5 seconds for the 40-yard dash. As a sophomore, he played tailback until the latter part of the season when coaches switched him over to defense because they said he was an excellent tackler. Rice is also in the St. Clairsville High School Athletic Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, our next inductee, Mr. Jeff Rice.
I wear a hat because I keep the hair out of my eyes. Thank you. So I just wanted to say thank you so much for the honor. Thank you for celebrating it with us. God bless you. I have to start off by talking about Ohio here for a minute. Let's talk about my meeting with Woody Hayes. Mr. Hayes asked me to come to Ohio State, but I turned him down. I won't tell you where he told me to go, but it wasn't heaven, okay? I wanted to thank you. I wanted to begin by telling everyone that, let me get my cheat sheet here. Wait 1 second. First of all, I wanted to say thank you for the OVAC for back in the day when I was playing, because I was the first team OVAC. And that was a huge honor. I'm from a little town. They pump sunlight out where I live. And it was a beautiful thing that the OVAC recognized me. It was such a wonderful thing. And thank you very much. And of course, thank you so much for this honor. But I wanted to begin by saying that I wasn't planning on playing football. We lost everybody. My junior year, we lost so many players, it was scary. And I was working at Ohio gas station. I don't know if you guys, some of you might remember the Ohio gas stations. They no longer exist, I don't think. But at any rate, I had planned on working. I wasn't playing football. My buddy Terry Lucarelli and Lowell Keppel kept talking to me about coming out and playing. I said, no. I said, I'm working. We lost everybody. I'm not going to get my butt whipped because I said, we don't have anybody. So this guy showed up. Even the coach left. But this guy came in from Cambridge. His name was George Strager. He was the head coach, new head coach. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to go down because Terry and Lower, they're having a meeting on the field. And so they said, you want to come down because we're going to go do something afterwards. I said, fine. I'm going to stand off here just for a second. So I'm embarrassed to stay here. Anyway, there's a fence. They call them a snow fence. Anyway, so Coach Strager was talking to the team. And I'm on this side of the snow fence. Well, and the team was out on the field. And he was talking to them just like I am talking to you right now. And he went on to talk. And he kept saying things that were very smart. I mean, very educated. I played football since I was a freshman, okay? And like I said, freshman, sophomore. And so I knew a little bit about football, okay? So this guy named George Strager started talking, and he actually made sense. And I just kept listening, and I started getting more enthused, and I jumped the fence. Well, the team went wild because now they saw that I was going to play. But more importantly, let me say this again. I jumped a fence, okay, to go play football, okay? Well, the rest is history, okay? But I want to tell everybody this. I can talk for, you guys would be here, you guys would be camped out by the time I got done talking about George Strager, my head coach. George Strager is the best head coach I have ever met. And I'm talking about Bobby Bowden. Bobby Bowden was my head coach at West Virginia. Bobby Bowden started coaching when he went to Florida State, okay? That's when he learned how to coach. Maybe we taught him, okay, at WVU, my class, okay? But I don't want to dog him out because I'm going to tell you something. This guy was class. Bobby Bowden was one of the, I have more respect for Bobby Bowden than most people on this earth. But Bobby Bowden was a tough, awesome man, okay, and a great Christian. Loved him dearly. His coaching skills were a little bit lax because I just came from the best coach I thought was on this planet Earth named George Strager. And like I said, I could spend 2 days talking about George Strager because he's the best there was. He brought guys that couldn't play nothing into a team that went 9-0. Okay? That's what we're talking about here. But I want to tell you something. There's a thing called jumping the fence. And I use that because I use that analogy because my life is about jumping that fence. Because that day I jumped that fence, it changed my entire life. It brought me to this thing called a diploma at West Virginia University, okay, by jumping that fence. Only thing I'm going to tell you all today in closing is this. Whatever you do, seek logic. Seek the smart people of this world. Seek those people that know something because it changes your life. And all I'm going to ask you in closing to do, every last one of you, jump that fence. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree is Mr. Charlie Ward. When it comes to distance runners in the Ohio Valley, Ward is on the short list of the all-time greats. He was dominant in cross country and track with the Big Reds after scripting a brilliant college career at Marshall University. His greatest prep accomplishment was setting the all-time All-Valley record for the 1,600-meter run with a sizzling time of 4:16. His long-standing record was bettered last year by Steubenville Catholic Central's Andrew Rode. Ward was a multi-OVAC individual champion in track. In 1986, he was voted as outstanding track athlete in the OVAC championship meet. He earned All-Ohio honors in track on 2 occasions, placed 6th in the 1,600-meter run as a sophomore and 3rd in the same event as a senior. The running standout won several Bel Air relay titles in both the 1,600 and 3,200, as well as the Shady Side relays. He was tabbed captain of the All-Valley track team as a senior. In cross country, during his time at Bel Air, he placed twice in the state meet, finishing 6th and 10th. His prowess earned him a scholarship to Marshall University. He made an immediate impact with the Thundering Herd cross country team, earning all Southern Conference honors on the strength of his 9th overall effort as the Herd captured the team championship. He finished 8th in the Southern Conference Cross Country Championships as a junior. He served as captain of the Marshall University cross country team as both a junior and senior. The Herd finished 3rd in the conference championships in both of those seasons. In track, Ward also had a hand in Marshall's 4x1,500 meter relay team school record setting. His personal bests were 3:55 in the 1,500 meters, 9:16 in the 3,000 meter steeplechase, 15:02 in the 5,000 meters, 25:30 in the 8,000 meters, and 32:08 in the 10,000 meters. He earned his bachelor's degree from Marshall University in management and marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree, Mr. Charlie Ward.
First, I'd like to say thank you to the committee for not forgetting about me. I know it's been a long time, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I want to thank and congratulate all of this year's class. This is the greatest class in the history, right? No question. There's someone that I want to thank, especially Bubba Caprell, who I don't think is here. Bubba, we're thinking about you. Get better, get well, and he's been my advocate this whole time. So thank you. I want to start by thanking some people at my table. My dad. My dad basically raised my brother and myself on his own. And, you know, when I say this, the only thing that you can really do is provide a roof over your head, a clothes on your back, and food on the table. And he did that. And Dad, thank you. I love you. Two of my closest friends, Bill Chisleski, Chad Bomber. We still are close today. I was lucky enough to actually run track and cross country with Chad. Bill and Chad went on to run at Walsh and have a successful career. Bill went to West Liberty and played baseball. He could have played football. He decided to play baseball. I want to thank my wife, who we will be celebrating our 30-year wedding anniversary in 5 weeks. Just like Earth, Wind, and Fire said, do you remember the 21st of September? Now you know. And I want to thank her for putting up with me and supporting me for all this year. And everyone says being the rock, but she's the hardest worker that I know. And when you need something done, ask Deanna. And thank you for giving me 2 beautiful athletic daughters, smart athletic daughters. My oldest, Olivia, could not be here today because she's in St. Louis finishing up her, I guess she's going to be a chiropractor. So we're going to have a doctor in the family. I was never that smart. So thank you, Olivia. Sophia will be a junior at Massillon. And she, unfortunately, in the crazy month of June, just tore her ACL. So she had successful surgery July 1st. She's coming back strong and going to be better than ever for her senior year, if not sooner. I love you guys. Finally, I know that JR said something earlier in jest that all the coaches used to say, if Coach Sab weren't your coach, we always said you'd have been an Olympian. Well, I have to say one thing. If Coach Sab weren't my coach, I wouldn't be standing here today. And I think that He is everything that got me to this point, because you can't just become tough. Coach Zab, obviously being respectful, being loving, being caring, he was also the kind of guy, the kind of coach that we needed. He loved what he did. He loved us. And when we got out of line or we weren't doing what we were supposed to do, guess what? We knew about it. Right, Coach? And then he goes on to become a successful basketball coach at that school next door. So I think another thing that I'd like to say is with this class, it's a great opportunity to be inducted with Erica. Erica and I actually had the opportunity to be teammates at Marshall, and we were captains our senior year. So congratulations, especially to Erica. Erica. And I think for me, the one last thing that I'll say, please do not forget about Bruce Stoltz. In my opinion, he's the greatest head track coach in Ohio Valley history. I'm sure other people would have an argument there. But he used to say, before every meet, he'd get on the bus and he would say, remember who you are and where you came from. And that's what I'll leave you with. Once a Big Red, always a Big Red. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree is Erica West. She was a track and field sensation, both on the prep and at the collegiate levels. She started as a sprinter and a long jumper during her remarkable 4-year career with the Red Riders. As a junior, she captured the OVAC and West Virginia State Long Jump Championships. She repeated those long jump title performances as a senior. In the regional meet, she soared to an 18.6 jump, an OVAC record. Her athletic greatness was not limited to just the sand, but was also on full display on the track. She was dynamite in the 100 and 200 meter runs. Check that, sprints. West was the state runner-up in the 100-meter dash in both her junior and senior campaigns. She sprinted her way to the OVAC 200-meter title as a senior. She was accorded this prestigious honor of being named the West Virginia Gatorade Circle of Champions recipient, and she is enshrined in the Weir High Hall of Fame. After picking up her diploma, West took her immense talents to Marshall University, which once again, she was nothing short of dominating at the collegiate level. Immediately a record-setting machine for the Thundering Herd track and field program, she completed her career in Huntington with 10 Marshall University track records. A 4-year All-Southern Conference performer, she captured the conference championship in the indoor long jump in 1989 with an outstanding leap of 19.6 1/4. She added the outdoor long jump title with a mammoth leap of 20 and 1 1/4 inches. Or check that, 1 1/3. All told, this former Red Rider pocketed 3 Southern Conference long jump crowns, helping Marshall to a runner-up outdoor finish in 1989 and 1990. She closed her Thundering Herd career with 10 school records, including the triple jump, the outdoor 200-meter and 400-meter to go along with her jumping marks. Hall of Fame, this is nothing new to her. She has previously been inducted into the Marshall University Hall of Fame, as well as the inaugural class of the Black Legends Hall of Fame at Marshall University. She earned her degree in economics in 1990, and she comes from great athletic bloodlines. Her brother, Billy West, and Uncle Bob Jeter are also enshrined here in the OVAC Hall of Fame. It is my pleasure to introduce our next honoree, Erica West.
Good evening. I am filled with gratitude. I am uniquely proud to stand here today as a legacy of great families representing dignity, strength, pride, and success on and off the athletic field, courts, and arenas. The Godfather movie saga had 5 families. In the Ohio Valley, Weirton, West Virginia, and specifically Weir Avenue through North End, there's a connection and legacy of families, multiple branches from one tree. And while I am humbled to be on this stage surrounded by my brother, Billy West, my uncles, my Uncle Bob Jeter, Uncle Tony, in this prestigious circle, I am honored and humbled to be here today as a product representing all those families, either by blood or marriage. Jeters, Wests, Thompsons, Jones, Tuckers, Kellys, Gillums, Millers, giant names of distinguished families and reputations from Weir Avenue and here in the OVAC. It is these shoulders upon which I stand, not just as a female athlete, but an athlete, and I am oh so grateful. When I was notified of this honor, my son asked me, Corey, who is here today, Mom, did you know you were this good? No. Running track and making the team was about keeping up with girls who I thought were pretty cool and fast. And then one day I realized I was pretty fast too. So this was about bragging rights. I have a Nike t-shirt that I wear that says being fast ain't easy, but it was for me. But that was only just the beginning. I have been fortunate to be supported by great people and coaches. My high school coach today, Coach Bonnie Block, she has known me since the 7th grade. Another coach, Mr. Fernandez, who was my junior high phys ed coach, has also been here. Coach Block I was part of a team that was probably 6 to 8 girls on any given year. And we would go in probably Miss Block's car. She had a blue Honda that would take us down the road to see whether or not we could compete, whether or not we could stack against some of the best girls and athletes in the Valley. We were not cocky, but we were not scared either. And being able to go up against the best of the best gave us an opportunity to see where we stacked and where we ranked. We also did not have any facilities. Weir High, we practiced at the old Weir High School, which became the junior high for us in later years, on a cinder track, and I have the gravel in my knees to prove it. We had maybe 1 starting block and a half a hurdle. Ms. Block would make sure that we got to the track meets early so that we could practice on their equipment. To that end, Wheeling Park that was my Taj Mahal, one of the best tracks, one of the best schools area, had great performances there. Everyone was incredible and grateful and cheering us on, and I thank you for that support. But we had Coach Block. I had Coach Block, and she wanted to make sure that if we could go for it, we needed to do it. So all of that is what makes this accolade and this recognition so much sweeter for me. Because girls from the Ohio Valley in the 80s in track and field, we really had no end game. Hopes for a scholarship, maybe. Some money for college, perhaps. Even I didn't get a full scholarship to Marshall, but I got close. Track and field is considered non-revenue, which means no money. So we were very thrilled to just be able to get a free pair of running shoes, some jump and track spikes that didn't cost me or my parents any money. Back then, girls' sports had no scouts, no tapes, no endorsements. Social media did not exist. Going viral was not a concept. No real opportunities to parlay talent into anything professional at the time. except maybe basketball and perhaps maybe going overseas, and certainly not without great sacrifice. So for many girls, me in particular, participating in sports was a means to adapt, to learn how to be part of a team, have some fun, release some steam, and oh yes, bragging rights. Nothing to gain or prove except to just do it. And I did just that. My grandmother affectionately called me superstar. She was biased. I didn't see a lot of women in sports, but those I did see, I wanted to be like them. I stand here today as a Hall of Famer because family, coaches, and people in my life nurtured me and saw raw talent and saw that when encouraged, it would propel me to work harder, go further, do more, and keep going. I saw a quote in an article that I'm going to paraphrase and make mine tonight. For every young girl today who watches women in sports, sees packed basketball arenas, televised track meets, soccer, tennis, golf, and legitimate available professional athletic careers, they are watching something that was paved by greats, proving we deserve to exist. I like to believe that I had some small part and contribution in that here in the Ohio Valley. We did it, not for money, not for the fame, no social media, no certainty of a professional career. We did it anyway, and I did it to prove it to myself. So for all of you, continue to recognize, patron, uplift, and support girls in sports. Whether that is your career choice or other life ambitions, know that there is nothing to prove and no one to prove it to or for except to you, to just do it. To Sonia Fedorko and the entire OVAC committee, thank you so much for the honor. It is a privilege to be recognized. To the distinguished honorees and my teammate, my co-captain, Charlie Ward, congratulations. I have the pleasure of sharing this stage with you, and the recognition is well-earned and well-deserved. To Mr. Bob Kelly, affectionately we call Uncle Bob, and countless others, Coach Block, thank you for your tireless efforts over the years to ensure that my name was spoken in rooms and that my achievements were lifted and worthy to be considered. I am grateful beyond measure that you supported and encouraged me to be here. To my family, and I have all of my family here from West Virginia to Florida. There are folks watching from home, so many to call out. Thank you. Everyone who is here, my daughter and my grandbaby who are watching from Georgia. I am here because of you and your unwavering support, love, and friendship. And finally, to my husband, my beloved Kirk Jones, who was an incredible basketball player for Weir High in the 80s as well. I know you are here and you can see this, and I breathe deeper every day for you and because of you. Wes Jones will be forever etched in the Ohio Valley. Thank you so much.
Our next honoree is Ryan Greer. It didn't matter if it was a local, district, regional, or state level, this Shamrock Speedster did a lot of winning on the track and field. It was in the hurdles where Greer made his mark during his time with the Shamrocks. He racked up an astounding 2 state championships, 4 regional crowns, 5 district titles, and 10 OVAC championships. As a senior, he put forth a campaign to remember. He was undefeated in the high school and intermediate hurdles. He brought home the state championship in both events. He also won the district and regional titles. He also earned the right to compete in the Midwest Meet of Champions in the high hurdles. He was also named Eastern District's Division II Athlete of the Year, as well as OVAC Track Athlete of the Year. As a junior, Greer was twice an All-Ohioan. He placed 4th in the highs and in 7th in the intermediates. He was the district and regional champion in both and also won the OVAC in the 100 meters as well as the 200-meter hurdling events. His name is etched into the Barnesville track and field history by setting school records in the high hurdles, intermediate hurdles, 100-meter dash, and 200-meter dash. After his prep career, Greer took his talents to Columbus to continue his track career at The Ohio State University. He didn't slow down by any means, as he was an all Big Ten performer 9 times, including 6 during the outdoor campaign. He was a Big Ten runner-up in the 60-meter hurdles in both indoor as a sophomore and junior, and was the outdoor runner-up as a junior. He also placed as high as 4th in the conference in the 100-meter hurdles. With the Buckeyes, Greer posted career best times of 13.84 in the highs, which ranked 5th in Ohio State history, 10.41 in the 100, 21.11 in the 200, 6.87 in the 60 meters, and 7.95 in the 60 hurdles. Ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Greer.
I'm incredibly honored and humbled to be here with all of you tonight. I would like to thank the OVAC for even considering me for such an honor. Congratulations definitely to my fellow inductees. Well-deserved on all fronts. I'm here to say thank you to the people in my life that supported me in my athletic career, as without them, I am not standing up here today. To Barnesville, a great community, a great school district. Without them, even today as a coach myself, I am greatly honored to be a part of what you are. To the coaches, teachers, administrators, officials that serve our public schools, thank you. You are much needed in these children's lives, along with mine, when I was of such an age. To my teammates, again, no one is up here alone. It takes your teammates to be with you, no matter what sport you are involved in. To my legendary coach, Dennis McCray, simply the best coach I ever had. Lastly, to my family, for pushing me to the best, to be the best. I only wanted to be the fastest kid in my family. And that's as simple as it is. And I still am. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree is R.C. Anderson. This dragon was a multi-sport athlete, but it was on the wrestling mat where Anderson left his biggest mark. As a wrestler for legendary coach Jim Potts, Anderson helped establish the Dragons as one of the premier small school powers in the state of West Virginia. He finished his prep career with a 138, 8-1 record. Anderson won 4 state championships during his career, and his final title capped off a 34-0 senior season. Along with state titles, Anderson won 2 OVAC titles, where he prevailed as a sophomore. He became the first individual conference wrestling champion in Dragons history. Anderson's only loss as a junior came in the OVAC title match, but he rebounded to go on to help fuel the Dragons to the Class A and 2A team title, which was the first in school history. As a senior, Anderson pulled the sweep. He won the OVAC title and was voted as the recipient of the award, which is given to the tournament's most outstanding wrestler. He then completed the sweep of state titles and was voted the recipient of the Bob Dutton Award, which is given to the West Virginia State Tournament's most outstanding wrestler, regardless of class. Cameron also repeated as team champions. Anderson also shined on the football field for Cameron. He earned both first team All-State and All OVAC as a senior, where he shined as a linebacker. He was second team All OVAC pick as a junior and helped lead the Dragons to the Class A playoffs for the first time in school history. RC passed away in 2024 at the age of 50 after a battle with just cancer. To continue his legacy and honor the impact he made on the sport of wrestling, an OVAC scholarship was instituted bearing his name in 2025. Accepting his award is his mother, Joy Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, R.C. Anderson.
Well, I'm not Joy. I'm actually, my name, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Barry Beresford, and RC was my cousin. I'd like to just say congratulations to all the inductees here today. But RC was more than just a cousin. He was a teammate, a roommate a couple of times. We traveled together. He was a friend, and almost like a brother. It's truly an honor for me to stand here tonight on RC's behalf of the entire family as he's inducted into the OVAC Hall of Fame. We all wish RC could be here tonight to accept this honor himself, but we lost him in 2024 to a 2-year battle with cancer. So tonight is certainly emotional for our family, but more than anything, it's a night that makes us incredibly proud. As said, RC grew up in and around Cameron. He graduated from Cameron High School in '92. And during those 4 years, he put together the great wrestling numbers that he just said, 138-1. That's pretty impressive. I don't want to just go sit there and revamp all the facts that he just said about RC, but just some other quick fun facts. So RC was the first 4-time OVAC wrestler, or first OVAC wrestler to win 4 state championships. He was also part of Cameron's first ever playoff football team. In '92, he was the only West Virginia wrestler that was voted to the National High School All-American team. He truly was a leader and pioneer for Cameron athletics. He led the way for many future Cameron athletes to achieve so many great things in years past. After graduating from Cameron, RC attended West Liberty State College, where he earned his degree in criminal justice in 1996. He did some wrestling up there too for Coach Monceau, and a couple of his college teammates are here today, so I'd like to thank them guys for coming, Smitty and Foston. There's no question RC was a great athlete. He was tough, competitive, and determined, but those of us who knew him best know that his athletic accomplishments were only a part of who he was. His friends called him the Peaceful Warrior, and I don't think there could have been a better nickname for him. RC was a fierce competitor, but outside of competition, he was someone who believed in peace, love, and joy. He didn't judge people. He didn't get worked up about materialistic things. He cared deeply about his family and his friends, and he loved to enjoy his life. He loved traveling around the country, his concerts and music festivals, the beach, and most importantly, he loved spending time with the people he cared about. That's the RC that our family remembers, and that's why tonight means so much. More than 30 years after RC wrestled his final match for Cameron High School, his accomplishments are still remembered, and his name is forever etched in the fabric of Cameron wrestling history. And now it'll also be part of OVAC history, as he is part of the OVAC Hall of Fame. Now to the thank you part of the program here. Too many to really list, but I'll do my best. I did have lots of opportunities to sit down with RC over the years, and we just talk about people that impacted him, and some of the same people that were to me because we were teammates for a while and stuff. And I know pretty good idea who he'd want to thank. And first and foremost would be his family. They were always there that supported him. Second, of course, would be his coaches. Should quick shout out to a couple things a lot of people probably don't even know. A couple of our older cousins that wrestled. He said that's who really got the spark going. Like we had a cousin named Mark Herring that was a good junior high wrestler, and a second cousin, Bobby Sims, who was a real good wrestler over in Pennsylvania. So those is who kind of got the ball rolling. But first, like I said, would be his coaches, and the late great coach Jim Potts. He was an OVAC legend, a Cameron legend, OVAC Hall of Famer, National Wrestling Hall of Famer, and he was our coach. He helped direct and steer so many wrestlers in Cameron, and RC was no exception. Just a quick little story that was kind of fun for RC. My senior year in 1989, there was 4 of us that made the state wrestling finals, and Coach Potts just shoved us all in a little room where the coaches were staying. He said, "You guys just hang out here, chill out. I said, it was all our first time in the state finals. We was all nervous. But I just remember him going and talking to each one of us individually. One of them was his son, Eric, who's here. But he got to RC, and he was talking to RC. RC was 14. He was like, RC, he said, don't worry about last week, because RC got beat the week before by the same guy that he was wrestling in the finals. But and just to paraphrase him, he was just basically, he's like, seize the day, go out there and do what you can. He says, I believe in you, you're going to win. And that 14-year-old kid just sit there, and he didn't even get, you'd think he'd been nervous as could be, but he was just stone-faced all day long, and he got the party started, and he won the first match, and then Eric won, and then I won, and then Dave won, so we made a 4-0 clean sweep. So we definitely love Coach Potts. Also, the assistant coaches like Jim Rogers and Coach Bob Cook was our assistant back then too. We definitely would like to say thank you for getting the ball rolling and getting RC into this Hall of Fame. His teammates were always the big thing. Wrestling's an individual sport, but RC was always very, very proud of his team and all the people that he wrestled with. There are several of them are here today. Chad Burge, Ryan Dudas, Eric Potts, all Cameron wrestling legends, are multiple time state champions. Teammates, I don't want to forget them, Dave Gray and John Wright. They're sitting over there too, so thank you guys for coming. And he was very proud of Cameron, the Cameron community, Cameron High School, and everybody that supported him. And I'm sure, like, if RC was here today, he would be saying that this award, it wasn't an individual award, but it belonged to the whole group of everybody that did support him. And I wish that he could be standing here with us tonight. We all know how proud he'd be, and we all know how proud myself and his family and the entire Cameron community are, that all the hard work that he put in all those years ago are being recognized today. RC left us far too soon, but what he accomplished, more importantly, the way he lived his life and the way he treated people will not be forgotten. So on behalf of RC's mother, Joy, his sisters, Brenda, Teresa, and Sandra, his nieces, nephews, and our entire family, thank you to the OVAC Hall of Fame Committee for giving RC this incredible honor. RC, we miss you, we love you, and we couldn't be prouder of you. The Peaceful Warriors now and forever will be an OVAC Hall of Famer.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree is Ashley Vavrick. It didn't matter the level at which Vavrick played, she could simply score the basketball. Whether it was a prep athlete at Bel Air during a brilliant college career at Fairmont State, Vavrick simply had a knack for putting the ball in the basket. She did so to the tune of 3,599 points in her career. Of those points, 2,036 came during her prep career at Bel Air. That total still stands as the girls' record. Vavrick was a 4-year letterman for the Lady Reds. She exploded onto the scene as a sophomore when she led the Ohio Valley in scoring, averaging close to 25 points per game. But she didn't stop there. She poured in 28 points a game, both as a junior and senior, and led the area in scoring each season. These seasons obviously didn't go unnoticed, as she was named to the All-Ohio team 4 times. She was twice a special mention selection and then garnered a spot on the second-team All-Ohio unit as a junior before receiving a first-team berth as a senior. As a senior, she was also selected as a finalist for Ohio's Ms. Basketball Award, which goes to the state's top female player. She was the Eastern District in District 12 Player of the Year. She was the captain of the All-Valley and All-Times Leader teams. She was also chosen to play in both the Ohio North-South game as well as the OVAC All-Star game. Following her junior season, which is when she surpassed the 1,000-point barrier, she was All-OVAC, All-District 12, All-Valley captain, and All-Times Leader. At Fairmont State, Vavrick started every game of her final 3 seasons with the Falcons, scoring averages of 10.7, 17.9, and 21.8 points per game, respectively. Her 1,563 points ranks 6th all-time in Fairmont State women's basketball history. She ranks 2nd all-time in her graduation in three-pointers as made with 248. Vavrick was named All-WVAC as both a junior and senior and the league's most valuable player as a senior. She also earned All-Atlantic Region acclaim as a senior. Her play helped the Falcons win a pair of WVAC championships. Along with basketball, Vavrick was a 4-year standout in volleyball for the Lady Reds. A 4-year letter winner, Vavrick was chosen for both the OVAC and District 12 All-Star Games. Vavrick joins her sister Casey in the OVAC Hall of Fame. Accepting on behalf is her sister Erica Miller. Ladies and gentlemen, Ashley Vavrick.
Ashley wasn't able to be here. She is watching her two young sons play tackle football tonight. I hope it's raining. Neither of us is much of a public speaker, so she just wanted to say thank you to the OVAC selection committee for choosing her for this honor. Our family is very proud of both Ashley and my sister Casey for being in the Hall of Fame. But as the oldest sister, I would like to state that still neither one of them has ever beat me one-on-one. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next honoree is Trent Leister. Pitching was the name of the game for Leister at both the high school and collegiate levels. His prep career was split between Harrison Central and Lakeland. The two schools, along with Jewett-Scio, consolidated into Harrison Central prior to the 1999-2000 school year. With the Huskies, he was brilliant on the mound, finishing with a 14-2 record and 4 saves. He struck out 179 hitters, including 101 as a senior. He had an impressive 1.13 earned run average, and as a junior, he put forth a .64 ERA. He issued just 14 walks and 118 innings of work at Harrison. Though it was his work on the mound that was most widely recognized, he was also a standout at the plate, hitting .402 with the Huskies as a senior and .463 batting average with 3 home runs as a senior. He was recognized for his fine season as the OVAC Class 3A Player of the Year, first team All-OVAC. At Ohio State, he was a 4-year letterman. He worked 228 innings and finished with an earned run average of 4.49, struck out 149 batters, and had a record of 14-10 with 1 save. He was named Big Ten Pitcher of the Week in 2005 after he picked up the mound win over number 4 ranked North Carolina. Following his junior season at Ohio State, he was selected in the Major League Baseball draft by the Chicago Cubs in the 39th round. He elected to return to school and was drafted in 2005 by the Toronto Blue Jays in the 30th round. While most of his acclaim was on the diamond, he was also a standout basketball player on the court. He scored more than 1,000 points in his career. He was All-OVAC, All-Eastern District, District 5 selection, and was listed as honorable mention All-Ohio team in Division III. He is the first athlete from Harrison Central to be selected into the OVAC Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, Trent Leister.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Hall of Fame committee, for this wonderful honor. It's a great privilege to be part of this great class, and thanks for everyone here that's part of this induction class this year. Congratulations. Sonia, thank you so much for the preparation, coordinating everything for this wonderful evening. Really appreciate it. And thanks for everyone for being in attendance tonight. It's a really special honor, and I'm glad to be able to share it with each of you here today. I want to start with my mom and dad first. My dad, you taught me my work ethic. I do it to this day. We grew up on a small farm out by Moorfield, Ohio, and putting in those hours really developed me athletically, but also what I do today. My mom, for all the years up there, driving to all the games, being part of some very special moments. The no-hitter in Richmond when I was 15 years old. It was the first scout that I saw, was a Rocky scout that was there. So a very special moment there. Some other folks I wanted to recognize was Lauren Street, my wife, my two young children, Lennon and Stevie. Thank you so much for the support. And then also my older two children, Alton and Etta. I just want to make sure you guys understand, if you put the time and effort into something and give it your all, you can do great things. Donnie Madzai, great person, great basketball coach, part of my baseball career. You're a great mentor for the youth in the area, so I really appreciate you being part of everything. Coach Saffel, I remember when you started at Lakeland, my freshman year, you were going to show us how to do it, and you jumped and tripped over the snow fence and broke your arm. And I was like, that guy right there means something, and he's dedicated. I wanted to make sure you understand that a lot of my fundamentals and my work ethic was from you. So I really appreciate that. A couple other individuals, Terry Wasm. Terry Wasm, this is back before cell phones. You didn't know it was raining. You think, hey, the game's canceled. We're going to drive up to the field in Caddis to see how it's going to go. And somehow Terry had that field ready. He was extremely dedicated to the baseball program up there. So I wanted to make sure we recognize Terry. A couple other folks I wanted to recognize tonight would be Coach Maslowski, my basketball coach up at Harrison Central. He was a great individual and taught me the fundamentals of basketball and helped me achieve getting to that 1,000-point number for my career. As we go to Maynard Legion, we go over to Dane Morgan. Dane, great coach, loved playing for Maynard and that whole team and crew up there. And also Don and Diane Richards that are here tonight. You guys were a great part of making sure that summer league team ran efficiently. And Diane, I ate all your hot dogs that were left over after the game. I appreciate that. But you guys were great. I appreciate you being here tonight. Also, Coach Vince for Maynard Legion. He was very fiery. He was a guy that you came and you were ready to play and you were putting the time in, and he expected the best out of you. So I appreciate that, Coach Vince. Jim Figursky, when I was 12 years old, growing up in a very rural area, we got to go play in Columbus and play against some good competition. And that really was where I could see myself that I was at that level. So Jim, you gave me that exposure, so I greatly appreciate that. And then as I go back in time, I got to call Rick Bear and Sam Bopp in Freeport for my Little League teams, very first coaches I had. Those individuals were greatly impactful, and it was a great experience to be able to start baseball with those guys. And also the Ridgeways that are here tonight. I greatly appreciate you guys being here. I know I probably forgot a lot of folks, but this is a great honor, and really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Our next honoree could not be here tonight, but we would like to honor Mr. Ross Comas. This former Blue Don dominated his competition on the football field. That might be selling him a little bit short. In his career, Comas accounted for 9,255 yards of total offense and 121 touchdowns. As a senior, Comus helped lead the Blue Dons to a Class A state championship thanks to a campaign in which he rushed for 2,037 yards and 35 touchdowns to go along with 1,731 passing yards and 22 touchdowns. Add it all up, and it was a season in which he accounted for 57 touchdowns and 3,768 total yards. He also led the Blue Dons to a state championship game as a junior. Comus rushed for 71 touchdowns during his prep career, which set state and valley records. He ran for 4,839 yards and threw for 4,416 yards and 49 touchdowns. He was named the most valuable player of the state title game in both of his appearances. That was just one of the numerous accolades he attained, as he was first team All-State as both a junior and senior, captaining the squad as a senior. He was a three-time All-OVAC in All-Valley selection. He was second team All-State in Class A as a sophomore and tied for second in voting for the Kennedy Award as a senior. He accepted a scholarship offer to UMass after his high school career, playing 4 seasons for the Minutemen. He completed 122 of 194 passes for 1,799 yards and 14 touchdowns. He rushed for 300 yards and 6 touchdowns. He had a single game high of 540 passing yards and 4 touchdowns in a triple overtime victory over Liberty. In high school, Comus was also a standout on the baseball field for the Blue Dons. He helped Madonna win the 2012 state championship. He was an all-state selection along with All-OVAC and All-Valley. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ross Comus. And last but certainly not least, our final honoree of the night is Eric Fox. This multi-sport athlete shined brightly, regardless if it was on the pitch, the gridiron, the mat, or track for the Bobcats. It was on the track, specifically on the pole vault runway, where he shined the brightest. A 4-year letterman in track, he earned All-Ohio acclaim 3 times in the pole vault, including finishing as state runner-up both as a junior and senior. He cleared 15 feet as a junior and raised the standard to 15 feet 10 inches as a senior. As a sophomore, he was 4th in Division II in the state meet at 14 feet 4 inches. En route to the state meet, he won the regional pole vault title as both a junior and senior after finishing to narrowly squeeze into the state meet as a sophomore. Fox was also a 3-time OVAC and district champion in the pole vault. He wasn't a one-trick pony, as they say on the track. He was a regional qualifier in the high hurdles and long jump individually and was on multiple Bobcats relay teams during his career. In football, he shined as a kicker, earning first team All-Ohio and All-District as a senior. He was All-District and honorable mention in All-Ohio as a junior. As a soccer player, Fox earned All-OVAC, All-District, and played in the East District All-Star Game as a senior. On the wrestling mat, he finished his senior season with a 32-12 record, placing 4th in the OVAC and 6th in the district tournament. He was 8th in the OVAC as a junior and qualified for the district tournament. His track talents took him to the University of Louisville, where Cardinals coaching staff took his pole vaulting prowess and made him a decathlete. He was the ACC decathlon champion as a senior. He was the ACC champion in the pole vault as a junior and finished 4th in the decathlon. He was 4th in the decathlon as a sophomore, placed 3rd and 4th as a junior and senior in the ACC heptathlon. His personal best in the pole vault was 16, 10, and 3/4. He also went 6'7" in the high jump and 22'9" in the long jump. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Fox.
All of that. They tell me that they saved the best for last, but I think it's just the youngest for last. Um, but the biggest thing for me is just saying thank you to the committee. And really just kind of saying thanks to all my coaches. The big ones I like to start with is wrestling, because just looking around in this room, this is where the OVAC obviously was held and all that. And the last time I was in this building was to collect that 4th place trophy for the tournament. So really, I just want to start with my wrestling coaches, Tank Moore, Doc Wright, and Dusty Braun. They really kind of showed me a lot of what it meant to be a coach, which obviously that's my profession now. So there's just a lot to thank there. But also my parents. They were pretty much the other half of the sports coaches when it really came down to it. Mom and dad were multi-athletes in college. So I guess I just kind of got the buck handed to me a little bit. But yeah, it was all that good stuff. But yeah, big thanks to the OVAC and everything you all do, and all of that. But just kind of wrapping things up, just want to say thanks for everybody being here, and just be safe driving home and all that. So thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask for Dr. Vince Monceau to step on up and lead us out in prayer here. On behalf of myself, I want to thank you guys so much, to Sonia and to the entire committee for having me. Thank you so much, and hopefully look forward to doing it again. And congratulations to everybody, and thank you so much for sharing your stories, because I tell you what, you inspired me up here too as well, each and every one of you. Thank you all so much. Please drive home safely.
Let's give those award winners another nice round of applause, shall we? We appreciate all of you. Would you please rise, unite our hearts again? And now, may the love of our God, the grace of Jesus Christ, and the communion of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. And all of God's children say, amen. Thank you very much.